Welcome to Friday, May 6, 2022, your Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Cowboy State News Daily, Wyoming's news authority. Go to cowboystatenewsdaily.com or check them out on their Facebook page. Warm and windy. Temperatures are going to really warm up here in the coming days, especially today and Saturday, before cooler weather invades western areas of the divide later this weekend. Unfortunately, a pretty stout west to southwest wind will develop on the plains, so we're going to have some wind to contend with, a lot of high and mid-level clouds as well. But after a very cool start to this week, I think a lot of folks are ready for some warmer temperatures, and they are coming through tomorrow. We're going to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms this weekend, especially for Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, back into Washington, Oregon, Northern California, then into the Dakotas and Nebraska. Colorado, Northern Colorado, going to get some showers and thunderstorms, but south of I-70, probably nothing. It's going to stay unsettled next week as this very large western trough develops and kind of stalls out along the coast. So it's going to be unsettled, and the weather forecast is going to be highly changeable and variable as we have a lot of disagreement in the long term with this pattern and whether or not we've got good or poor rain chances mid to late next weekend into next weekend, depending on what scenario unfolds. Today's satellite imagery shows the storm that came through earlier in the week right there in the Midwest. And then you can just see a lot of cloudiness activity here in the Gulf of Alaska across the North Pacific. We've got areas of low pressure, just basically a large area of colder, moist air up in the Gulf of Alaska where that breeding ground region for these storms has been. This large trough is going to slowly push into the Pacific Northwest this weekend. And you can see it right here on the 500 millibar chart, this area of low pressure right here. But ahead of it, westerly wind flow will bring warm air out of the deserts and into the central high plains and Rockies, and that's going to lead to the warm-up. Still cool in the northwest, but look at the warmth spreading out across the west here. So this is why temperatures are going to have a quick rebound, and you'll step outside today and notice how much warmer it feels in many areas. The trough sort of settles on in to the Pacific Northwest, but pushes further east. This is by Saturday night. So we're going to start to see a bit of a cooling trend push in, especially to these areas here in the Northwest, but into the central and northern Rockies. And this will help initiate some shower and thunderstorm activity Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into Sunday, especially right along and north of this boundary right here. While east of the divide and out in the plains, it is going to be really, really warm. Temperatures are going to soar here. Here's the low that we talked about yesterday that's going to boomerang back. That's still in play. Talked about wind. Why we don't need the wind here, but here comes the wind again for areas in southern Utah, the Great Basin, and then into the Rockies and High Plains. It's going to be a windy stretch of weather this weekend with this trough riding in. So we'll have to deal with the wind in many areas. Nothing that's crazy windy, but enough to certainly be a nuisance. Now, by Monday, notice the trough doesn't really go anywhere. Let's back up. This is for Saturday night, and this is for Monday afternoon. So we've got several little low pressure systems embedded here in one large area. And there's that low stalling out over the East Coast that's getting cut off from the main jet stream. So with this system kind of hanging around, it's going to make the Pacific Northwest cool and wet. It's going to send little disturbances that'll keep scattered shower and thunderstorm activity going in this area right here during the first half of next week. While down here, along I-70, along I-40, it's going to be warm and windy, very warm air getting pushed up into this area of the nation right here, summer-like temperatures. Thunderstorms, this is for Saturday afternoon towards Saturday evening. So anywhere you see the green and the blue and the red and the purples here, this is basically the prediction of lightning strikes and showing you where the best chance of thunderstorms will be Saturday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, for Mother's Day afternoon, this is where the thunderstorm activity is going to be most numerous, and that will go into Sunday night into parts of Nebraska, South Dakota, and southeastern Wyoming and far northern areas of Colorado. This is what the precipitation looks like, and you can see it's almost like Mother Nature's just following I-70 and say, okay, anything north of I-70, you're going to get rained on. Anywhere south of that, you're not. You can see the Pacific Northwest, the northern Rockies, the northern plains. This is where most of the shower and thunderstorm activity will be Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday, and into Monday, with the southern areas drier. look at these temperatures. This is by Mother's Day Sunday. Look how cool it gets back here into California, Washington, Oregon, the northern Great Basin, then back into the northern Rockies. Look at the contrast here between the very warm conditions east of the divide and back areas in the central and southern Rockies, while the cool air hangs back up there. With the trough stalling, this is kind of the dividing line, but where it's going to be cool or where it's going to be warm. By next Tuesday night into Wednesday, the low kind of separates a little bit. There's that stalled out low right there, the big warmth in the middle areas of the country, and the southerly flow ahead of this next low. What happens to this guy is where there's a lot of disagreement. Some modeling takes this system and swings it through and merges with this low up here by later in the week. Other modeling takes it more of a southerly track like that, and that's going to make a huge difference on whether or not there's rain in the southern plains and the central and southern Rockies, or it goes back up into Montana and North Dakota and southern Canada again. And here it is. This is by Friday. We have the low swinging up through Wyoming, up towards Montana. This will bring an outbreak of rain and thunderstorm activity to this area here, and then back into the Pacific Northwest. By Saturday morning, the European models got it going up into Saskatchewan and Alberta with a cold front trailing through the Rockies, but the American model breaks it off, and we have a closed low migrating into the Four Corners area. This is night and day between what will happen in the west with precipitation late next week and next weekend. So, best we can tell you is stay tuned on Monday. We should have a better idea on where this low will go, because it will have a big impact on the long-range forecast for late next week and towards next weekend.